Welcome to the Influential Christian Entrepreneur Podcast. We are here to uncover the inspiring stories and strategies of successful Christian entrepreneurs. In today's episode, we have the pleasure of interviewing JJ Checki III, who loves seeing his clients succeed, but his priorities are God, family, and then business. He is married to his beautiful wife, Krista, and they have 3 amazing children who love peanut butter, by the way. JJ enjoys playing and watching sports, time with friends, and outdoor activities. He says that when people come to his business, he invites them to come experience the here and now to wow difference. JJ helps business owners and families simplify their personal and professional lives. And his motto is, we help people have fun and still have money. That is a good way to start that. Have fun and still have money. Everything costs so much these days, JJ. Yeah. Even going to the movies, you're talking about $50 a pop.
Yes, better be a good movie.
Better be a good movie. That's why I've held off on a few movies. It's not worth the $50 it's going to cost for me and the kids to go.
Yes. Oh, I hear you.
Yeah. And so, JJ, you are out of Texas. And tell us a little bit about what is it that you do? Because your company is called Checki Financial. And I know that you and your pops work together. Yeah. And you guys have the exact same name, except that you're the third and he's the second. So this is a generational business, right? How long has this business been established?
Yeah, so he has been in practice for over 25 years, if not over 30 years. Mm-hmm. I joined him 10 years ago. So it was always something that he considered as far as, or I guess we both considered, as a possibility to work together in the future. Went to UT with a finance degree, same thing. Loved numbers, didn't necessarily want to be a math teacher. Those are great people, but not necessarily what I wanted to do professionally. So then, interesting enough, 12 years post-college is actually when we started working together. So that was when we officially started, and then got to see how he takes care of clients, got to be in client meetings to provide assistance as well, and then now getting to do not only joint clients together, but also bring on my own clients as well. So love working with my pop. It's a lot of fun. He's still very actively engaged in the business. I don't see that changing anytime soon. He loves what we do and serving our clients.
And so what was the whole idea of working together? Because a lot of people don't want to work with their family members because they say that, working with family actually makes things harder and this and that. So where did your dad get that idea? Why did he want to work with his son?
Yeah, definitely. Well, that might be maybe better for him to answer, but on my side is, you love spending time with your kids and getting to see them develop and grow and have the same passion as you do as far as helping people. The way we do it may differ slightly, but as far as in the end, wanting to see clients and be successful, enjoy their lives, to have fun and still have money. As far as the challenges of working together with family is, one, obviously, is communication, which is key to any, boss-employee relationship. But early on, that was a bit challenging. It's kind of like I joke now about it, but it'll be like, why are you telling me what to do? Like, oh yeah, like you're my boss. So definitely in the early days. And then as well as when, say, we're at the dinner table, of separating that, let's leave the office and let's enjoy family time together. So we had to kind of figure out where those boundaries are and where those conversations, if the conversation needed to be had for some reason that, was post whatever office hours, we would just quickly address it. Yes, this was taken care of, client's good, and then we'll move on to enjoying a family dinner together.
And so do you have any siblings, or are you an only child?
I do have siblings, so it's funny, it's a bit complicated because I had 2 sisters growing up. One passed away when I was very young. That's why I say the complicated part. And then years later, I grew up with a stepbrother and stepsister, and stepsister passed away. So I have one remaining natural sister and one stepbrother he's my brother, but for clarification purposes. So I do have siblings, yes.
Oh, but they're not involved in this business.
In the business, no. Nope, okay. Didn't have an interest, didn't have the desire to do that.
Didn't have the desire, so you're the one who wanted to go towards that. So JJ, tell me a little bit about how did you come to know Christ?
Yes, definitely. Thanks for that. How I came to know Christ. So from about 5th grade on, we went to church. That's where the story started, at least my recognition. So And then in high school, wasn't really pursuing God. College, freshman year, was partying and acting a fool. But during that time, I met a group of students that loved one another and loved God. I could see there was something different about them. It caught my attention. One of those what's up with those people? So I started coming around, started spending time with them, got back in my Bible, and I was doing this study called Biblical Foundations, or actually the Purple Book, still out there, and then Great Foundational Studies of Christianity. And I came across the verse, Luke 6:46. It says, "Why do you call me Lord, Lord, and not do what I say?" I'm in a UT study hall, white walls. I still remember, get the image of the room almost every time. And it was my sophomore year by this point, and God pointed at that and said, "That's you." It's like, wow. So I knew of God, kind of like you know of a celebrity, but you can't call them. If you somehow did, they'd be like, what the heck, and hang up on you. So I knew of him, but I didn't have a relationship with him. So that was my sophomore year. I was 19 years old. I gave my life to Christ shortly after that and been pursuing and growing in him since. Obviously, this relationship continues to develop. It's not a one-time thing. Like the Bible has the analogy of marriage and the relationship, and just how you continue to pursue your spouse is such a great analogy to the relationship with God, is it's a continual thing. It's not, oh yeah, we've been married X number of years, for me 16, been married this many years, so I know everything about my spouse and there's nothing ever to learn anymore. Like, not so much.
Definitely.
The same thing with God, is you continue to grow in that relationship and understanding of who you are, like who I am as a man of God, who he's called me to be. He said he's made us in his image. So what does that look like? So what kind of authority do we walk in and identity we walk in if we're made in his image? So those different things continue to shape me today and continue to grow in that relationship. Yes, I spend time in the Bible. Yes, I spend time in prayer. There's also importance of gathering together with other like-minded believers to help encourage one another, to talk through scripture, say, oh, this was on my mind. I was thinking about this. God showed me something. What are your thoughts? And just continue to grow and pursue him. Because it's not an endless pursuit like a hopeless thing, but an endless pursuit like a continuous learning and growing and pursuing him and the relationship with him. So love it.
So let me ask you a question. UT is University of Tampa, right?
Oh, yeah, sorry, I should have said I'm in Texas. So University of Texas at Austin, the University of Texas.
Okay.
There you go. There we go.
I was like, UT,
Yeah, so, a lot of times he's also UT, University of Tennessee. But
oh, my goodness. Okay.
University of Texas at Austin, yes.
Good, at Austin. So so your family has always been Christian, correct? And you just did not have that personal relationship, and that's when it happened in college.
Yes, correct. So yes, as far as so I grew up. It's kind of like the relationship side. It grows. It doesn't stay the same. So am I the same as I was at 19? No.
Right.
Is my pop grown in his face and his relationship where he is today versus when he gave his life to Christ? Yes. So it's a continuous growth and things like that. So what the really cool thing was those early years in college of getting to see other believers live out their faith, to see a husband and wife and how they treated one another and how they raised their kids, actually was a model for me. Now, my oldest is 15 now, but 15, 13, and 11 for time of this recording. But they're just getting to see them. That was an example to me all those years ago of what it looks like to have a family and to pursue God together and encourage one another. So that still speaks to me today, and I'm thankful for those men in my life from many years ago.
And that's amazing that you've been able to recreate that in your own life. You have your daughters and you have your wife, and that's kind of what you wanted to yourself, and you saw that the way to achieve that was by following Christ.
Yes, and my little man too. So my pop had 2 girls and a daughter, and then I have 2 girls and a son.
So you have a little guy. Okay.
Yeah. Sorry, my pop has 2 girls and a boy, and I had the same order.
Yeah. Same order. So you are a replica of your dad.
And I only have a resemblance, just a younger version, same name, which confuses people. So yes, definitely.
Absolutely. That's beautiful.
Yeah, that's great.
Now, can you tell me a little bit specifically about what it is that you do and for who? Like, can you expand upon that a little bit?
Yeah, definitely. One area is pre-retirement and retirees, helping them make sure they're prepared for retirement. And that can start early. I mean, it's best to start early, but it particularly starts to get on people's minds more when they're in their 50s and 60s is, okay, I've built up my career, I'm potentially earning the most I've ever earned at this point in my life. Okay, how do I know that I'm on track to get to where I want to go? And to be able to chart that course to say, here's where you are now, the here and now 12. Here's where you are now. Here's where you want to get to, where you want to go. And that's a personalized approach. It can be a cabin in New Mexico because someone who loves charting the trails, that's one of our clients. It can be another one who built this amazing wood workshop and teaches high school students, or has over the years at least, and to be able to learn the woodworking. So in depth variety across the board, but those are just a couple quick examples. And helping you plan, prepare, and then take the action to actually take steps to get there. So that's one big group. And then say someone who's not quite there yet, but still wanting to plan for their future, is making sure that asset protection, just making sure that as the market comes and goes, and just making sure their family is taken care of. So estate planning, investments, life insurance when appropriate, just kind of really, if it has to do with a dollar sign, we can help you. But the thing is, it's a little, may or may not be unique, I think it is a lot of our conversation isn't necessarily around money. It's more money as a tool to help to get you where you want to go. So where do you want to go? Then let's talk about the money side to actually help you get there.
Right. Kind of reverse engineer it, right?
Correct. Exactly. Yes.
Yeah. Yep. And so, but then you guys do it differently. I was reading on your website because you have a big focus on building relationships, long-term relationships with your clients. It's not just about transactions and money. It's can you tell me why that's so important?
Yeah, definitely. Well, part of it's just who I am. I mean, I love people, getting to know them, getting to hear their story, their background, their families, whether it has anything to do with helping them professionally or if it's just someone I come across and I meet. I just love to hear people's whatever backstory, if you will, kind of how they got to where they are now. It's also, I'll say we thought a lot because it's my pop and myself, so we at Checki Financial think that it's important to actually know about you. What are your likes, your dislikes, your passion? Why do you do what you do? All those type things, because that's important to know how to serve you on the financial side. Because if we don't know that and it's just, I have this much money and I want it to grow, there's really not much to work with there as far as information to make sure it's best suited to you versus knowing about you and your family. The mind map is what we call it. We put it on one diagram: values, relationships, how involved in the process of managing your finances do you like to be? Some people like to be very involved, and some people are like, I hired you, please take care of it. So I mean, there's the spectrum.
That would be me.
Yeah, guys, I saw your response when I started to say that. So yeah, exactly. So knowing that in advance and having both parties, the husband and wife at the table, to know both sides of the story. So if one wants to be super involved and one like, I don't care anything about this stuff, you're like, okay, well, you got to find the right sweet spot in there so the one spouse makes sure there's some level of, like, if they're like, I don't care, just you take care of it. There needs to be some communication there so they know what's going on. And then say the more analytical one who wants to know everything is making sure that they have the information they need to be able to move forward as well. So it's all important about knowing the person and to be able to provide the right service to them.
Yeah. And I could see how that could be a great service for people, especially couples, because then, one might be less involved, the other one's super involved. But what happens, and I hear this all the time from people that I talk to, is that one person who is the person who wants to be super involved tends to dominate. And so when you have somebody there that's in between, making it sure it's a balance, nobody feels left out.
That is important. Like, we'll sometimes just straight up interrupt a meeting, and whoever the one that's more vocal, and just stop and turn to the other spouse and just say, I mean, we want your input too, so please let us know your thoughts on whatever question that we asked. Do you agree? Do you not agree? It's completely different than what that other spouse said. I mean, just let's actually have both input, because it is critical.
Yeah, it's critical. Sure. Absolutely. And so, going back to why I have you here in the first place, the premise behind this whole podcast is that we have always been told to not mix faith and business, that when you talk about your faith, or like some people call it religion, which for me, it's not the same thing. But when you talk about your faith and you mix it in your business, it is bad for business. It's irrelevant to business, and it should not be included in the business conversation in the marketplace. And I see on your website, you actually have the name God on your website. And I wanted to know from your perspective, is it okay for us Christians, and I'm speaking about Christian entrepreneurs and business people, to talk and mix our faith with our business?
Definitely. I'll say, if someone somehow got to this point in the podcast and they're still listening and is not a believer, we have clients that aren't believers, and like we'd love that, but no problem at all. You're going to know that I am, and I'm not going to be in your face about it by any means. But I mean, Loretta, you'll know though that. So some people love talking about it, love being able to share their faith and the amazing things God's doing, and they love that, and it's just people get excited, and that's because that's part of who we are. So then it comes across in our business as well. So as far as mixing the two, it's kind of fun. I'll be having a conversation with someone, whether it's in person or through a Zoom or something like that. And at some point I'll just stop and go, I'm going to say this at some point, so I'm just going to say it now. I'm a believer in Jesus Christ. It's essential to who I am and how I do what I do. And then maybe I'll share a story that is about God and how he's doing something, but I'll at least got to go, sorry if I haven't said this yet, but let me actually now tell you about it. And then some people, they light up, they get excited about it. I get the opportunity to pray for people often, and my pop, John Checki Jr., has always encouraged me to do that as well. And one of my clients, literally at the end, we had a meeting discussing some of the things for his family. At the end, we prayed, and he said that was the most important part of this meeting. So it's just, I agree. So it's great to be able to express my faith. Do I think everyone believes the same? No. I mean, obviously I don't pretend to believe that, but I think it's important to be who I am. I think it's important to, it's also an interesting thing, kind of like some people will be maybe offended by that. Some people say, our conversation's over, see you. Okay. Other people go, I'm not into that, but I like you. We can do business. And other people more light up and go, I actually get introduced to people because of my faith and the opportunity for business because of that. So I had dinner with a couple on Friday night that literally was an introduction to somebody else's. Y'all are both believers. You're both in the Fort Worth side of Dallas, Fort Worth. Y'all should meet.
So, and that was from a non-believer who introduced.
No, it's from a believer too.
Okay,
that was an introduction from a believer. Yes.
You're funny. I've had people who are not Christians at all introduce me to other Christians. Right. And so you have gotten maybe some pushback here and there, but that has not stopped you because, like the Bible says, Jesus said that we are to spread the good news to all creatures and to anyone. And so you're not being forceful and you're not trying to offend anyone, but at the same time, you're making it very well known and it looks like people who are not into that have been respectful because you were respectful towards them.
Correct, yes. And one of the ways I'll phrase it is I like taking the opportunity to pray for someone. Is there anything specific I can pray for you today? And someone that would like me to thinks about it for a minute and answers and maybe opens up a bit about something going on in their life. And people who aren't open to that usually are very direct and quick and say no, and kind of their tone tells you
to
please
stop.
Don't say anything else. And it just politely say, okay, no problem at all, and go about my day. So yeah, that's part of the thing of not being in somebody's face about it, just presenting the opportunity. If someone says no, like, okay.
That's fine. And they probably came to you already knowing that you were a Christian. So they probably expect, but that didn't stop them from doing business. They thought you were competent in what you did, and they just shut that conversation down and move on. And there's no awkwardness or weirdness about it, just keep going.
And it's something that, though there is some great symbolism in our logo, it's not an outwardly where someone would see it and just go, oh, I see that you're a Christian company or something like that just by, yes, it's on our website in some places, but it's not like a big banner that says something about God. We provide excellent quality of service, the relationship, and then obviously the faith impacts why we do what we do and how we do it as well.
Yeah, because I think that it could be, and it depends on the context, because you guys are into numbers and finances. if you're going to have a big banner and make a big deal out of it, that could be like, oh gosh, these people are going to try to convert me if I call them,
Yes.
And we don't want to just do business with Christians. The whole idea is to do business with everyone, So,
Yes.
I can totally see why it makes sense for some people to be more explicit and for other people, not necessarily. Like I've become very explicit because it makes sense, because my audience and my target client is a Christian man, so then that would make sense. But for most of us,
there's a coach that I know that she works with, if I can get this correctly, with Christian business entrepreneurs, women, female Christian business entrepreneurs, and it's a lady, and that is her very specific.
Exactly.
This is who I want to help. People have some level of burnout. I want to help them, their mindset, their growth, and that's great. That's very specific. That cuts out a lot of people in the world. But you know what? The people who need the help, who are in that space, are going to know who to go to.
Yeah. But I like the way you're doing it, because your business is in a way a ministry, because you're gently reaching out to people, and whoever wants to have that conversation can have it. You pray for people, and you're planting seeds. And that's part of what we're supposed to do as Christians.
Yes, definitely.
Well.
I love it. I actually get to pray for more people now than when I was in vocational student ministry. So more often, more environments, more places. So yes, it is a ministry. I kind of have fun with it when, say, you're in a setting and someone says, who's in full-time ministry or whatever, and I'll raise my hand, and of course you. And then someone says, well, who's in whatever the business world, and I'll raise my hand. And some people will be like, wait, what? Like,
how can you be in both, right?
Yes, it's both. Yeah.
And so, I think you're praying more for people now, maybe because our world is it's such a broken world, and there's so many people within our reach. I was talking to someone yesterday. There's a statistic that 165 million people have come into the marketplace, into the creator economy in the past 2 years. 165 million people. That means that there are more people online. And then somebody else sent me a statistic today that conversions are happening 8 to 10 times more in the marketplace than in churches. And that makes sense, because the people who are non-believers, they're not going to go to church, right? Yes. They're going to come online, which is the way that I was converted, by seeing stuff on social media.
Yeah. So the amazing thing is when people see your character and how you treat others and just why you do what you do, or just how you carry yourself.
Yes.
If it's done, when they can see Christ in you, then it's like, okay, something's different about how you responded in this situation, or how you treat your family, or how you speak about your spouse, or whatever it is, things like that. Like I learned early on, or say, I think it was probably even before I got married, of hearing people talk about how you speak to your spouse and how you value them, and not like that whole, oh, my wife does this, kind of like just off comments and things like that to others. Like there's no value in that. So it's just like, you're just like, when can I take shots at the other party? I'm like, how does that benefit anybody? So I learned that even before I got married. So you won't hear me saying, oh, my wife does this. I mean, like it's not coming up. It's not the time and the place to be broadcasting that to the world, or even a small gathering.
I know. Yeah, it is. And I'm happy that I feel like Christians are becoming a little bit more vocal. We're getting out there. Christians in the marketplace are starting to speak up. So that's good, because I feel like we have been taking a back seat. And I'm new to this, but I kind of feel like Christians were kind of taking a back seat and not saying much, especially in the past few years. So it's a good thing. Now, Can you tell us, JJ, how can people reach you? Like, how would they contact you? Find you on LinkedIn, go to your website. Is there something that you wanted to share with the audience?
Definitely. LinkedIn's my name, JJ Checki, Checki.
There's only two of them.
Yeah, my pop and myself. Another fun one that you can find on our website and elsewhere is a book that we wrote together. See if I can get the right angle in there. Spend Time and Save Money. Just a fun photo. And won't zoom necessarily quite properly, but a picture of us both on the back. So it's Spend Time and Save Money, with a subtitle, How to Invest with Fun with the Family While Moving into Retirement and Growing Your Retirement Accounts. So you can see how thick it is. It's an easy read. quick read, but it's a good fundamentals as far as, if someone's been investing, say, their whole life, it'll be some good reminders, some good tips. They'll say, you know what, that's something I haven't thought about or something that I should implement. And someone is newer to this world will see that as like a great maybe primer to begin the education in that space. So it was a fun project. We did a recent podcast actually with the company that we wrote it, but the company that helped us write it as far as the producing it go to print. We had a podcast recently just sharing the story of how that came to be. So that was a lot of fun as well. So that's a great resource.
How your book came to be, and you guys wrote it together. When I initially saw it, I thought, oh, it's a children's book, but no, it looks like a book that it feels like a non-intimidating way of just getting, some basics and getting to know you guys better, because I feel like I've heard this before, that one of the reasons why people don't go to like someone who helps them with their finances or an attorney is because it's intimidating. They don't know if they can trust you. It just feels, and people rather talk about almost anything before they talk about money, is what I hear.
We get acquainted with the dentist at times, like that, not but just our industry.
Yeah.
Yes. And then someone else once said that I don't like talking about money to my spouse. They sure don't want to talk to a stranger, or whatever, once a stranger. So definitely, the cover's intentional to be fun, to be lighthearted, because that is part of who we are as well. If someone's just very serious all the time and just, it's going to be a tough fit for us, because we use humor, and there's an intentional, because money's a serious thing. Your retirement savings is a serious thing. Taking care of your family and your children and all your desires and dreams, those things matter.
They do.
So being able to bring in some lightness to the situation with humor, with timely and things like that is important, because otherwise it's just a financial report on C-SPAN or whatever, if that's still if anyone watches that anymore. But that,
right.
So no one wants to hear that. So I guess somebody does, but not our clients.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, this has been wonderful. It has been enlightening. I love seeing the different approaches that people take depending on their business, on their personality, how they go about spreading the gospel in their unique way, because each of us, we have our own individual gifts, and God will use us in the way that is most fitting to us. So that's why I love it. I want to thank you for taking time out of your day for being here. To all the listeners, thank you so much for listening. If you are a Christian man and you are spirit-led and you are interested in building a faith-driven personal brand on LinkedIn, that's what we can help you with. You can find me at francineSinclair.com, or you can email me at hello@francineSinclair.com. And we will be back next Tuesday with another interview on the influential Christian entrepreneur. I hope you have a wonderful week. Take care.
Thank you.
Don't hang up.